Alright, this is a Giphy clone website created with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let's just understand what is Giphy website. So this Giphy website is the collection of all GIFs. If you search for laugh, you will get the GIFs related to laugh. So we have used this website's API and created a clone of it. Now in this website which we have created, you can search for laugh and click on search. You'll see a preloader for 3 seconds, and after that all the images will get loaded. The same way, if you want to search something like angry and click on search, you see the preloader and the 12 images as of now gets loaded per request. And the same way, click on search, you'll see another set of images with different search term. Previously we have used angry, now this is discussed. So along with the images you see there's a download link, and it says that this images is of this size, like 9 MB, sorry 0.9 MB, it's like 900 KB or 9 KB. Tutorial and source code available on my YouTube channel. Alright, if you wish to learn more such tutorial, you have to get into my channel, and I have a collection of JavaScript playlist. So here, get into the playlist where you will find JavaScript related projects. So I have games in JavaScript, and let me search for JavaScript here. Over here you will find the vanilla JavaScript project tutorial. I have like 90 plus tutorials in a single playlist. If you are an intermediate level developer, you can directly jump to this video and start along. But if you are a very beginner, I would recommend you to start from episode 1. So you can see I have started from episode 1 and now I have reached till here 95. If you have no idea of what Java is, I would recommend you to start from episode number 1. So if you are okay with HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and you don't need quite introduction of each function and each value or each variable, you can directly jump and start along with this current project which you have clicked on. Now for each videos I have left the source code in the description. You just need to click it and start coding with me. So in case if you got stuck somewhere, you can just copy paste the code which I have linked in the description, so that you don't get stuck anywhere. So that's enough for the intro. Let's just get started with the project. First and foremost thing what you have to do is you have to create an account in giphy.com. So here you have to get into this URL and click a create app, and you have to create a API for yourself. Now I have created the API, and what I have done is I have kept the API into the new file which is api.js, and I have assigned the API key to a variable, and this is the variable, and I'll use this variable to pass into the API URL so that we get the result. So that's enough for the intro for the API. Now what you have to do is you have to create a folder. Let's just create a folder in XAMPP. Make sure your XAMPP is running, and paste your folder into your htdocs folder. Once if you have installed XAMPP, what happens is in the C drive you will find a folder called XAMPP. So let's just get into XAMPP, and then we have htdocs, and inside htdocs you can paste your project of which you are creating right now. So what I have done is I have created a folder called API, and inside the API I have created again a folder called Giphy. Here I have placed index.html, script.js, style.css, and then I have an api.js which just has one line of code, and then I have image. So here the image will have a preloader which we need it. Let me just close the OneDrive. I have mistakenly clicked on the OneDrive. Now what we can do is we can define the HTML first. I have added the boilerplate code. In the head I have linked the style sheet, and in the footer I have linked the api.js and script.js. Make sure your api.js is at the top, so you can access your API key into this script.js. So that's enough. Now we are going to use the bootstrap code for the navbar. So here you can search for bootstrap Bootstrap 4 W3 school, which has some boilerplate code. Now inside Bootstrap 4 we search for navbar and click on it, and here we need this navbar. So what you can do is, it's already created, so right click on it and copy the navbar. Just copy this, edit as HTML, and then paste it into your HTML. Now to make this navbar work, what you have to do is you have to link your Bootstrap CDN. Here in this case, the style sheet and JavaScript file required for Bootstrap to run, it's in this CDN URL. So let's just paste it just above our custom CSS so that we can override the Bootstrap code with our CSS. So let's just open it. Since we are using exam, so localhost, it's inside API folder, and inside API folder we have Giphy, and by default index.html will load up. And now you see you have a search bar. Since we have a margin, we can remove that, and in place of logo you can type UI monk. And let's just, if you want to zoom in, you can have this inside a container as well, call and container. So what we can do is, we can simply have this nav surrounded inside a class called container. Cool. And just for the sake of having links, we can have home and about, and we don't need this disabled link. Cool. Now if I click on search, let's just make this whole website as black. So for all element, let the margin 0 and padding 0, and let the box sizing be border box. Now for the body, let's just have background color as black. If that doesn't work, you can override it with important. Hard refresh this, and here you go. And now we can again have our navbar color as black. Make sure you are using the same class as they have mentioned, or something close to black. Cool. And this too, #1111. And over here everything seems alright. Now let's just create a grid. So here in this grid, main, inside main we'll have row, inside row we have column, and inside column we have image tag and download button, and anchor tag with download. Download GIF. Now just for the sake of displaying any image, let's just do that. We can search into Giphy and search for some image. Let's just use that, copy image URL, image address, then just paste it in src, and let's just see whether we are able to load that image or not. Copy image address, right click, and it's better to copy the whole URL. I have used the link, we don't need the link, we need this. So instead of the MP4, let's just pick the GIF. So that is what we are going to call control alt Z, or alt Z will line break if it is too big. We don't need these guys as of now. So we can make the width saying that 600 pixel. Let's just try whether it works or not, or else custom code. 600 is too big. 400, 300. Yeah, 300 works. The same way, let's just write the code. We have row, then we have column, then inside column we have image, then inside image we have, inside column we have anchor tag. So what we will do is, we can give the width of the column as 30%, and we'll make this display flex, so that or whatever rows are there, it would be inside side by side. Copy this, paste again. Now you will see 3 in a row. And inside the column, let's just make this display flex again, and flex direction column, so we can see one below the other. Let's design the download button. Let's just see how the GIF takes care of it. Instead of Giphy, GI. So what we can do is, we can make 4 in a row, so that we don't get much space around the columns. And yes, of course, let this be inside container, so we get some space on left and right. On the style.css, we can again make this 25% in a row, and let's just have some margin or padding of 10 pixel. (23, 22, 21), and what we can do is, to get some space, display flex, align item. I think it's justify content, space between or space around. We get some space between. And let the row have some margin, top of 15 pixel, 30 pixel. For the image, let's just remove the inline attribute, control H, make it its face. Now let's see. Yes, now it works. So these are different images. Consider these as different images. Now let's just define the color. So how does the Giphy uses it? They use the gradient. So we can just copy the gradient we want. So this is the gradient for the background. So for all the let's just say background, let's refresh it again. Control alt Z, and we can have important. I think I have missed some lines. Double click on it. I think this, let's just try removing this. Yeah, that works. So we can give width or display inline, margin 10 pixel, and color be white, or else we can, instead of display inline, we can consider giving width of 50 percentage, and since we are using display flex, we can we can add justify align items center and justify content center. So align item is breaking the grid, or what you can do is margin 0 and auto, top bottom 10 pixel left it auto, and extra line center, and padding 10 pixel if you want. And of course for the button also we can change this color. You can just copy the class, and since it's in the same div, you can write it in this way and just give the background color. So this is not the recommended way, but since we have only one button, we call it in this way, and that's fine. This is similar to our Giphy website. And what else we can do? So as of now this is alright. What we do is we use JavaScript to append the column. So this is how it's going to look like. So we have to specify the width of the column. So before just specifying the width is also okay, we need 4 in a row. So in that case we can make this 23%, and don't forget to write flex wrap. So we have column, actually flex wrap should be inside row. And what is really happening, let's just see. We just need to see whether the column is following the width. If it is 25%, then actually we have not given this 100%, that could be reason too. Oh, actually it's bootstrap class. What we can do is we can control H and replace it with our own class, and again a row with our own custom class. So we could avoid the override issue. And let's try refreshing again. So 1 2 3 4 works. And for column, so flex direction column, so by replacing it got is problem. Now you got it, 1 2 3 4 in a row. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So if there is 9, so we'll make sure we get 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8, and one more 8 of column 1 2 3 4. So we get 3 rows. And in the API we can set the limit, saying that we get 12 divs of rows, or 12 result. So we can set the API saying that in the limit it's 12. That means we need 12 result. So once that is done, we can set the control O. We can set the GIF loader. loader, and over here we can have the image. Inside image we have image folder, then we have loader.gif. So if I make a dish, you'll see this gif comes up, and let's just define that. And over here we have a loader, it's a div. Let's make the div as width of 100 viewport width and height of 100 viewport height, so it covers the whole screen. And whatever is there inside the loader, let's just make this at the center, display flex, align item center, justify content center. So there seems to be an issue. In that case, we can again use the position. We can make this position relative, and inside loader we have image, so position absolute, left of 50%, top of 50%. Now let's try. Even if that doesn't work, we again have a transform translate of minus 50%. Again, I think there's a problem with the image itself. Okay, you see the loader is taking the position relative. So again, let's just loader have position absolute and left of 0, top of 0. So now it's at the center. So we can give this to the loader, and as of now consider there is no row, and then now it would be at the center. And if you want, you can make the size of the image as 50% small. Cool. And now let's just make this, let's just comment this as of now, or comment whatever is there inside the row. And if the loader gets the class loaded, then we want to hide the loader. So loader class, it's a div. Inside if it gets the class loaded, then make this display none. So if you refresh, you won't see class, sorry, you won't see the loader. So if I remove this manually and refresh it, you will see the loader. So if I add it and save it, you won't see this. So by JavaScript we are going to add and remove the class loaded. I hope that is clear. Actually this home is giving an issue of override, so let's try removing that, and yeah, that works. Cool. Now again, if you let me remove all the other code and just keep one for our save for our convenient, so that we can use it in JavaScript. Now it's time for JavaScript. So the div that is needed is, so the first thing is we need data for form submit. So whenever there is form, there should be an action. The data should be sent somewhere. In this case, we'll make this JavaScript :void. So it's just a way of stopping the form from submitting. So if you don't write this, if you click on search, what will happen is the data would be sent somewhere. So let me just show you. Click on submit, and if there should be an action, so let's just keep hash and try it. Luckily nothing is happening. So usually what happens when you click on submit, the hash would come up, but here we are not getting, so that's alright. We can, even though if you get it, you can stop it with the JavaScript :void, so that the form won't get submitted. Cool. The app is running, but yeah. Okay, now we can get this class btn success, or you can give your custom class search. We can access the search in JavaScript using document dot query selector, and it's a class search. So let's just store it into a variable called search btn. So when I click on search btn, add event listener, just click. So when I click on this function, what I need is, I need the data dot value. Let's just try consoling it. Console.log, click on inspect, and in the console, if you search something and click on search, you'll get that data. I'm not getting that. Actually, we need the input field data, not the. We can make the class and input search. So we can call this, and this is input tag. So we need the input tag value. So if I search, I shall click on search. When I click on this button, you'll get this input value. Click on search. Cannot read property of null. Actually, it's not able to find the input field, so it's better to have this over here and make sure this is there. Actually, there are two classes, that's why it says it could not find. So we can remove this class, and it's okay if you save it over here. And console, click on search, and yes, you got it. So now what you have to do is, you need to pass this into your URL. So fetch, pass the URL, use the backtick, and the input field value can be passed over here in the query q dollar. And now, so what you'll do is, we'll just have this into a variable called URL equal to, and we can pass the URL to the fetch. Since fetch at first does not result the value, we need to convert the result into JSON. Let's just do that. So we have received the response and I have converted it to JSON. So now the converted JSON can be accessed in the form of data. So the converted JSON has been converted into data, and now we can access the data variable in the form of fetch data. And now Yes, now that works. Now what I have done is I have received the data and I have showed it in the console. It's in the array format. So it's not in the array format, it's in the JSON format. So there is one data which is in array format. So what I have done is we are accessing the data. We can give any name as result. Also we are receiving the result, and the result has a data which is an array. So I can loop the, since we have 12, we can loop these 12 individually. So I have, we can, since we can loop the data of array individually, I have used for each, and we can access one by one data, and I have followed the same way. Inside data we have images, inside images we have URL. So where is the URL? URL should be somewhere here. Inside images we have URL, we have originals, then we have URL. Over here it is. So this is size. If you want, you can specify the size also, and this is URL, and this is size, and then width, and I don't think other things are required. If you want, you can specify the height also. Cool, that's enough. Now we need to populate this into our HTML. So it's very clear. Just copy this code and just inside the for each, and type HTML equal to, use the backtick and paste the HTML, and over here this is for the image, and we can receive the image over here with this, and since we are using backtick dollar, this is valid, and we can use this URL same in the HTML since we are using download, so that we can able to download it, and if you want, you can display the size and height later on. And once this is done, we have an HTML. At present it is, by default it is going to be blank, and then I have appended the HTML with these divs and use the row. So row 28 is what the column holds. Use the row 28, and just inside the function generate HTML, call the row 28 and append inner HTML plus equal to with our HTML. Let's just try. So if I search for JavaScript, click on search, we got one value. So the problem, let's just check for the problem. Let's try displaying the HTML after pasting console.log the HTML. So JavaScript again, click on search, and yes, we have some 12 datas, and in the row.html, actually it should not be inside for each. We can, if we want to, let's just try it, adding it in JavaScript, click for search, and yes, you got all the values related to JavaScript. Cool. So these are the GIFs related to JavaScript, and if you click on download GIF, it is asking for you to specify the place, desktop. Click on save, and if I press Ctrl J or Ctrl O to open it from the desktop, Ctrl O, I think it has not downloaded yet. Yes, it got downloaded. Now in the desktop you should see the GIF. I think this is it. Yeah, no, it's not it. Actually, it is getting download. The in the download.html is getting downloaded. Let me see why. In the console, the download GIF, you see it is not getting properly appended. In the download, yeah, I can see there is this problem. It's a double quotes issue. PHP, click on search, and if I click, let's just hover it first whether I think this download would work. Click on download. Actually, it is taking you to the download page of GIF. To make this unique, what we can do is we can give the width and height specifically so that it doesn't look improper. So zoom out or take this out the console, press Ctrl O, and I feel this is okay, so go for it. So 257 and 193 width, 250, height 190. Let's just try it. Go for Python or Smile. And still it is getting loaded. Cool. And if you want to show the size and height, I don't think height is needed. We can display the size. So let me just uncomment this and click push, and let's just display the size, or over here inside span we'll make a span tag inside GIF, inside anchor tag. It will specify size 1.3 MB. So inside anchor tag, in the style sheet it has an anchor tag. We can make this display flex. I think it's because of the width that we have specified. We can make this 80 if we want. We can change the text to just download. To make this more convenient, we can specify this inside bracket and make this smaller. Instead of small, we can make this small also. Cool. So the same way we can pass this with the, this is the href, and for the size we have this over here. This is for size dollar. So you'll get it in kV. You can convert it by MV 1024. Now we can remove or hide this call. We'll append it with Laravel. Click on search. Here you see two issues. The first one is the first button is getting repeated. We can remove that. And the second issue is just we are getting the kV, but we have to make this to fixed. And let's just try. We don't need this anymore. Refresh it and smile. Click on submit. So this is of size. I think the size is not proper. Let's just directly display the size first. And this is the size. Actually we were getting the bits, not the bytes. So first thing we need to download, we need to multiply it with 8. Sorry, divide it with 8, and then we need to multiply and divide with 1084, and then convert it to 2 fixed 4 MB. Sorry, so 2 fixed 4 or 2 fixed 2 would be right. Now let's try it. Click on search. Yeah, we got this in KB. And on the end we can make this size to MV. So I hope this is getting clear. And search annoy. Cool. Now we can set for the preloader. So what we can do is just go for generate HTML, and just before generate HTML we can type set timeout after 1 second. Let's just display this, and after 3 seconds, and let's make sure we are not getting any console error. Hello, click on search. 1 2 3, and yes, we get it after 3. So over here we can show the slider. So to show loader, function show loader, get the loader element, loader dot class list dot remove. We can remove the class load, and for hide loader we can add the class loader. So over here we can show the loader for the 3 seconds. Let's just type for some random words. So 1 2 3. So you see, once you see this, once it gets properly loaded, what I need is, and now we will see whether all the 12 images are loaded or not. So we'll use the row dot query selector all, and inside that we have images, and we'll store it into all images. And let's just make the load count images equal to 0. And since this is query selector, we can access it with for each, and we can get 1 by 1 image, one by one. Now we can access the image one by one, and we can increment the count of the image, and we need to make sure the image is loaded and then only increment the count. And now you see I have added the add event listener to individual image. If individual image gets loaded, then only increment the count. If the count reaches to 12, we know we are loading 12 images over here. If the image reaches to 12, then we want to remove the loader or hide loader. Let's just see. Let's search for happy faces. 1, 2, 3. Once it gets all loaded, you should see it go away. We can do a simple trick, like we can create a variable outside, and on each HTML append we can make a count of ++, and in the end, after appending, if the count reaches to 12, you can hide this set interval as of set timer as of now. If the load count is equal to 12, then hide the loader. So let's try this. Console.log. We have already one for each running, so we make use of that. So we have 12, and yes, it's gone. And that's very trick, and we have used it on a long way. And what else we can search? Popeye, Veeam, 1, 2, 3. Yes, show the image, and once it gets loaded, just get that hidden. So I think the scope of this video is done. So in case if you want to download, just click on this and you will be redirected to the link. Alright.